Hi Riley, I've looked over your lesson plan and here's my feedback. So this is very well aligned from your standards through to your essential questions in your lesson plan. There's some places that I think you give the kids a little too much credit, and I want you to imagine through them giving you a bit of a harder time with answering some of these questions, just so that you're prepared for those moments. I'll show you what I mean, okay? All right, so clearly you've chosen a standard that aligns well with your text. And you very clearly said here they'll be able to identify theme and tone by analyzing the components of a novel, okay? While you do have a by clause in here, we want something a little bit more concrete. Remember, this is the thing that you're going to write up on the board at the beginning of class so that students know exactly what is expected of them for that day. Are they going to be writing an essay? Are they going to be doing group discussion? You know, how is it that you expect them to show you this learning, to show you this ability to analyze, an ability to identify a theme, okay? So basically, if you're going to say identify theme and analyze components, then you need another by clause through group discussion, through, through paragraph writing, whatever, however that's going to be, okay? All right. So you have students working in pairs to do discussion for your formative assessment, and your summative assessment looking at a collage of words and images to describe tone or theme. That's a really cool summative assessment. I like that. It allows for some creativity. All right. So you've got your context and your hook in there. Okay, so you've got your context or your hook, and I love that you're addressing, that universal human experience growing up, angsty, things like that, okay? Here's some of the piece I want to challenge you, because this is really well aligned and well written out, but I'm going to challenge you a little bit, right? You say, can anyone define what the theme of a novel is? Your students answer with this beautiful answer, right? The theme is the underlying meaning or major point of a book, okay? What would you do if you said, can anyone define what theme of a novel is? And it was just crickets. You could very simply give them the answer. And then when you ask them what tone is, they'll know. Oh, if I'm quiet, she'll just give me the answer. And it'll set up this expectation, right? So I want you to imagine your way through a questioning structure. If you ask what is theme and students give you crickets, how can you ask the question in a different way? How can you scaffold them into, walk them into their remembering what theme is? Same thing with tone. Again, super well aligned. This is really good. I'm throwing down a challenge for you here, okay? All right. Same thing here. Students give you this beautiful textbook answer. In the real world, that's not going to happen all the time, okay? All right. So, right, how can we find, and this is a really critical question. You say, now, how can we find theme and tone of a subject? This is a missed opportunity on your part, okay? Students say to you, we can figure out about tone by how the book is written. That's way too vague, okay? The diction used or how it makes you feel, all right? Here's an opportunity for you to preset your lesson plan, because the goal is that they can find theme and tone, and you're going to be giving them pictures, to work with. What about a set of steps or a set of questions that says, how do you interact with a text in order to find theme? Tone maybe isn't so hard, right? Look at diction used, but I don't know, every single text I read has the word the and the word or and the word it in it. Oh, those aren't the words I'm supposed to be using for tone? No. What kind of words do you want to be looking for? What's your criteria for determining if a word should be used to support tone? What's your criteria for determining if a moment in the plot or a character's thought should be used to support theme, okay? Real opportunity here to walk the students into how it is that we do this. How do we apply our analytical reading skills to synthesize so I can understand theme, right? Those are some pretty high-level Bloom's taxonomy pieces, okay? All right. Here, I like what you're doing. I'm going to demonstrate what I expect from your groups with an excerpt from our novel we will be starting as a class. You read the sentence for them, and then you say, demonstrate how to find tone. How does it make you feel? Read aloud and ask students what their reactions are. Okay? Construct ideas as to what the theme could be. Because this is your guided practice, I want you to really beef this up, okay? So, you're going to spend a couple minutes here. You throw this quote up on the board. It's funny. Don't ever tell anybody anything. If you do, you start missing everybody. Interesting. Let me demonstrate for you what strong readers do. First, I'm going to reread because that's really abstract. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Second, I'm going to sort out all of those common function words, and I'm going to look for, I'm going to look for those meaningful words. You start missing everybody. What does that mean when you miss everybody? That's kind of sad, right? Oh my gosh. So when I tell people things, I start missing people? Oh, that's distrust. See how I walked my way in to read, reread, grab a chunk, connect it to another chunk, find a whole meaning, right? Those are the kinds of things that you want to look at when you're helping kids walk their way into these skills. Okay, good. So now you move on to the verbal check for understanding. Be careful of this question. Does anyone have any questions, right? When you ask that, kids always look around and go, no one else has their hand raised, so I'm not going to raise it. Tweak that a little bit by saying, all right, someone walk me through what are the specific pieces I'm asking you to do in your groups. Find theme, excellent. After we find theme, what are we looking for? Tone, good. What are my steps to doing that? Okay? So be wary of that question. Does anyone have questions? All right. Okay, so then you're very explicit with them. I want us to focus on finding theme, on finding tone, and various pieces of literature, art, and music. You may want to talk real quickly, right? You gave a literature example, right? So how can I use these pieces when I'm looking at art or music? What are some ideas for that? Have those ideas up on the board, something like that, okay? I love the fact that you have specific pieces for them here. The first you want them to do this, and then this, and then this, all right? This might give them a little bit of pause. You might want to do a little bit of explanation there. Analyze how an author or artist's choice concerning how to structure specific parts of a text contribute to its overall structure. That hangs me up. Like, I look at that and I'm like, what do you mean how I structure something and how it contributes to the big structure? Might need a little bit of depth of explanation there, okay? All right, I like that you're having the students come back together, sharing their conclusions. Right here, bear with me while I scroll a little bit. All right, and then you have them, now that you've practiced this in a guided way, you have them independently practice it for a text. That is beautiful alignment, really nice solid flow to that. And then you're challenging them to find evidence too. You're not allowed to say that tone is X or tone is Y without finding me a piece of information from the text that supports that in either an inferential or a direct way, okay? So I really liked it. I think that's really good. I appreciate the fact that you have the materials in here too. I think that'll be a huge help when you come back around, like, to looking at this lesson plan later. You don't have to go scrounge and go, oh, what was I thinking to use for that? So really nicely done. Just a few challenges for you to think about, okay? Thanks.